Affairs lieutenant. I had to tell him, 9152, the rules and regs. So anyways, we contact our attorney. Our attorney has sent them 3 or 4 to the chief, 3 or 4 letters saying, where's the investigation at? Why isn't this lieutenant being disciplined? Have heard nothing. Okay?
And then, you know, I had heard that he wanted to confront the author of the website, which is me. So I went in that night, I went into work early. You know, he should have been there before 4. He wasn't there. I said to his secretary, or the chief's secretary, well, tell him that I was here to confront him. I'll be back tomorrow. I came back the next day. There he was. And I said, his name is Jack Sullivan. I said, Jack, I understand you wanted to confront me. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Just basically just denied everything. And I said, listen, next time you want to shoot your mouth off a roll call and call me out when you know I'm not going to be there, at least have the oomph to say it to my face. And I walked out. Based on that, he brought me up on charges of insubordination and lack of civility. Yeah. He goes in a roll call, breaks the law.
Did he tell you he was doing it?
Oh yeah, I got a letter.
At roll call, the second in command, the Captain Dugan, is telling him, stop it, stop it, stop it, to the lieutenant, right? And he's still going at me, he's still yapping at me. As far as I can tell, he disobeyed a direct order 4 times. What's happened to him? Nothing.
I said he broke the law. He broke the Mass General Law, Chapter 150E. Nothing's been done to him. I'm the one that's up on charges.
But that was 2 months ago. You know, he's notified that he's brought up on charges, he's being investigated, whatever have you, right? What have we heard about it? Nothing. Because it was just a little fear tactic. You think you're going to do that? Now I'm going to investigate you. Now I'm charging you with something. But we haven't heard anything. It's been over 60 days.
Our attorney sent letters saying, what's the status of the investigation against Officer Tate? They just ignore it. Said there is absolutely no leadership at the Quincy Police Department. None.
Where do you think it's all going to end? I mean, do you think the new mayor will do anything? Do you think he'll? I mean, I know he hasn't said anything, and you haven't talked to him or anything about it. I mean, just that you can't work with him. But I mean, do you think the mayor will sit him down and talk to him?
I would certainly hope so. And he's a very straightforward guy, as you know, the mayor-elect Koch. And
oh yeah, I know Tommy very well. Yeah.
I could picture him bringing us into the room with the chief and saying, okay, what's the problem? And I said, we'll have a nice tidy little package of all the stuff that he's pulled against us. I don't know what he's going to say to defend himself.
We want to sit down. We want to sit down with Mr. Koch and the chief. We want him to answer for what he's done. Because he hasn't, for 6 years he hasn't had to answer. This goes back before he became chief.
Oh,
we want him accountable.
He's ruined a lot of lives.
He's ruined a lot of lives. Civilian
and he never had to suffer. Never had to suffer because of it.
No, we want him to answer. And he's going to try to bring in, we know him like a book. He'll try to bring in his whole regime with him, the whole Gold Star regime with him. Well, probably 10 superior officers with him. Okay? No, we want him to answer. Because what he likes to do, and you saw it at the council meeting, he likes to stand back, Lieutenant such and such, or Mr. such and such, and always divert it to them. No, and when you noticed how when he had to answer Mr. Ramondi's questions, he didn't like that. He didn't like to have to answer direct questions. Because we get a ton of them for him.
And I'll tell you, when he's trying to tack it to one of us, he has, as the title of the movie, Total Recall, he remembers the most infinitesimal little detail, if it suits him. But, his deposition for Siobhan O'Connor's lawsuit, I was there for that one too. Can't remember a darn thing. I don't remember, I can't recall, or I don't remember, I can't recall.
I was watching the council meeting, I just happened to think of this. I was watching the council meeting a couple of weeks ago, just before Christmas. And Dan Raimondi brought up, and it was to, I think, one of the city lawyers or somebody, about the money that they had to spend for the chief, the city had to pay for the chief's lawyer.
Right.
Yes.
They didn't have to, but they did.
Okay, and Dan Raimondi was all he was trying to do was get the question answered. And this attorney didn't want to answer it. I mean, it was very...
Oh, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, they said, well, why didn't the city supply the officer with an attorney?
Right.
And they said, well, they never asked. Well, we're going to ask. We're going to get our itemized bills together and send them to the solicitor's department for the money that we paid.
Yeah, and I think it was, I don't know which council it was that was up there, but he wasn't much help to Dan Raimondi either. Yeah. But this council has really been a disappointment to me.
They're not exactly profiles in courage, I'll tell you that.
No. I mean, when I saw them, like you say, guys are talking about tonight, when I saw them at the city council meetings the time I went there, when you were there, and I mean, a lot of them said nothing. You know, there has been, and I don't know if I can talk about it. You probably know the case that I'm talking about because I know I know both individuals, and I wrote a letter to this counselor about this thing that went on, about the promotion thing there, and I wrote a letter to that counselor afterwards, and asked him why he never ever got on that council meeting, used that bully pulpit to talk about what was going on between those two officers that were. I don't know how far I can talk about it, but bring it out. But why they weren't promoted. Okay, and other people were over them, and never said nothing. And it's his constituents. I believe both of them were, and he never said a word. Never said nothing. He never said there should be an investigation on this. Did he ever call the chief and ask the chief, well, why is this being done? I mean, it was quite obvious why it was being done. Who was down there to get up there? I call him Einstein. But, I mean, it was quite obvious what they do. But that counselor never, ever, even after I wrote him a letter, never went to that council meeting or anywhere else and never even got back to me on the letter.
But you know what? Almost every single one of them was up at the Granite Links on November 7th for the Coke Victory Party.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
I talked to a couple of them.
Well, that same council was that I'm talking about was running around with a big smile on his face when they started putting the yard signs out and everything there in September there, because he was so elated over the fact that all these Phelan signs were all over C Street.
And quite a few of them were seen by members of our association barreling out of the Phelan party.
The Commonwealth, yeah.
And then they were up at the Granite Links.
They run out of there like it was the Coconut Grove on fire.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I think, if Phelan's going to look back on it, I mean, there's a lot of things that were done wrong, and I mean, and I disagree with him a lot, and I talked about it on my show a lot. But I mean, if Phelan still doesn't think that this guy was one of the big reasons that he's leaving on this coming Tuesday.
After the election, the mayor was at a public event and actually said to one of our supervisors, "Could you take care of Bob Crowley? He's really had a rough couple of years."
That's what he said.
Unbelievable.
He still doesn't get it.
Unbelievable.
We went to him 3 separate times and tried to make him aware of what was going on. He didn't want to know about it. He didn't want to hear about it. And I don't mean to bash the guy going out the door.
But I mean,
I wish him all the luck in the world. I really do.
Who?
Mayor Phelan. I mean,
to their own opinion.
Yeah. I mean, believe me, I have my issues with him. But good luck to him. I don't have to deal with him anymore. Whatever. But he had his chances. He had more than enough chances.
Oh, he had plenty of chances. Plenty of chances.
I don't understand it.
I think his attitude was, and I mean, it's just my opinion, but I think his attitude was, I'm married to a Tobin. I have the Tobin machine behind me, and I'll get elected as long as I want. And I mean, it didn't happen.
I would never be so presumptuous to say that we, that we made a difference in the election. But I think we had somewhat of an effect on it.
Oh, sure.
And, the mayor just wouldn't admit that he was wrong.
I'll tell you a story. One of the ladies that was working for the Phelan campaign, they were driving a bus or something, one of those trolleys there or something. They were taking people to the polls, yeah. And they went over to she was telling me this story. She went over to, it was either, I don't know if it was one of the senior citizen places, someplace to pick. They had this lady on there, and she said, of course, it's got Phelan written all over the bus, I guess, and everything. And the lady, she got talking to the lady, and the lady said to her, "Well, I'm not voting for Phelan." She says, "That chief is a nut." She says, "He's got to go." This was an elderly lady, so.
Yeah.
People come up to us all the time. And,
all
the time.
I share the opinion with Peter. I don't hold any ill will towards Mayor Phelan. Said I hope whatever he does after whether his law practice, whatever. I wish him all the best, but said he had so many chances to do the right thing, and we told him ahead of time, don't make this guy the chief. It'll be the biggest mistake of your life. And
2003.
Look at.